Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll.
And I took a few leaves off of my begonia plant just because they're all brown and dying looking. Some of them are dead, but I want to show it to you though because it's looking so great. This is the begonia that I purchased after killing 4 other ones. But and I know that the winter is not over, so it may not continue on to be this beautiful, but I'm hoping it will, and even more beautiful. I thought the word turtle was in this little begonia, but I may be wrong. The closest thing I could find to its name of a plant that looked like it in the begonia family was a tiger star. So, and it may have several names, as most plants seem to, but I just love it. I'm so besotted with the begonias anyway. I never thought about that I would be, because it's a pretty plain little common ordinary plant, but oh my goodness, how could you even say ordinary while you're looking at this? It's so pretty. And I found that I actually love the green, the different shades of green mixed and blended together the best, and that's what this one is. I also love the polymer prints, which truly is my favorite. It has even a deeper ruffled with all the different shades of green in it, but I lost one of those. Actually, I lost several of those. I tried at least 2 other, but I will try that one again. Hopefully I will figure it out a little better. I know my sister, she actually had her African violets to do like my begonias did and begin to dry out, and so she put them in a tub of water and let them soak, and then she took them out and let them drain, and then they just started picking right back up. So if this one should happen that way, I will try that on this little plant too, because it would be wonderful to get them to where they just don't die for me every season in the winter time or the early spring, because mine lasted right until the time it was time to take them out, and then I couldn't take them out in that position or that condition, but and finally I had to, and I thought, well, maybe with God's air and everything, they get outside, they would come out of it, but of course they didn't. So but this one I have high hopes for again, and I'm hoping that it will just continue to be beautiful and even more beautiful, hopefully as the years go by. That would be so great to get to keep it for years. It's January the 9th, and the hustle and bustle of all the holidays and get-togethers and purchasing items for Christmas and all that is settling down now, and I for one am kind of glad they are. I got up this morning and thought, gosh, I don't have more to do today than I can get done. I actually think, you know, there's lots to do though, but it's not so pressing, and it was a good feeling. It's a very good feeling to feel like you could just kind of ease into the day a little bit instead of rush and try so hard to get things done that you may or may not get accomplished, because you know you're not going to be able to get it all accomplished. When I was a kid and even a young woman, I would think that winter went on and on forever, like spring took so long to get here. And it's my favorite season. So, you know, it was my dad's favorite season. Just that renewing, and just, it feels like you're a part of it when the earth begins to wake up and become beautiful. But now it feels totally different. It's like it goes so fast. I can't seem to get Christmas behind me, and then get our taxes gather information together to get the taxes done. I can't seem to get it all done until it's time to clean all this out again. But I have been thinking about different things in the garden, and one thing that I was considering is this little pot right here. I would like to change it from the impatiens that I've been putting in it to something else. I'm not sure what yet, but I was thinking that maybe the trailing vinca might look prettier and do better here. Since our maple tree is now a thing of the past, it doesn't quite get enough shade, and yet it is still shaded some by the eave of the house and by our neighbor's tree. So it helps it some, but I'm thinking it gets plenty of sunlight also, that I could put in trailing periwinkle in this little pot. I think that would be something to maybe try, or at least to think about trying. These little birds are trying to get sneaky. They won't go ahead and go over to the bird feeder while I'm out here. They're kind of waiting me out, hoping that I'll get away from their spot because they're looking for this little bird feeder right here. They've been there and they're waiting for me to get out of their way so they can go back again. This last season I learned some things. Of course, every season we learn some things about our gardens or the plants we put in them. But I had been using these coconut liners because they drain so well, and that's great for the little mini petunia or calabachoa, which I love. But I'm beginning to feel like perhaps that's not the best. It will work for you, except the problem that I'm having with it, it is not deep enough for them to stay. They have to stay moist without staying soggy or wet enough to make them rot. Whereas this little pot, I put a calabachoa in there and it did so much better. Actually, it's a deeper pot. It's still got some width to it, so it was just for some reason a better choice. The little calabachoa did so much better. It was still going strong for all through the summer months, even though it did not bloom much. When that heat comes, they just have to be like us and just suffer through it until the first signs of fall begin to come, and the days are shortened to where it doesn't get as long of a bright sunlight, and then when the cool comes on before it gets too cold for them, they can really shine. And so I've got to get something that will keep them through that really hot period, and for some reason this one did. It may be a fluke thing, but I'm going to try it again. I learned that even though I will want to keep some small pots handy, because you just never know when you need to take one out from a different pot and restart it, or to even root something in one of these or start seeds. So I will keep some, but my thought is that I'm going to if I can, more of the larger pots for the very same reason that I just talked about with the calabachoa. It just gives them a better chance to make it through the summer because they have a deeper area where they can keep a little extra moisture without it just drowning them out and drowning their root. So I'm going to try that this coming season, which is right up on us actually. Even though this is January, we usually start cleaning the garden out in the pretty days of February if we have some, and we normally do have. So I like to get it started as soon as possible so I can get it done as soon as possible, and then start the fun part of refilling everything with glorious, beautiful blooms. Even just the plant is beautiful, but it's, you know, we'll wait anxiously for that bloom. Oh, look at this. I can't believe it, but I don't know why. It is a Lenten rose, but I didn't know if I had any left here. I thought they had all died out, but it's a Lenten rose and it's green. It's a bright, beautiful green. It's one of the first plants to come up and flower in the spring, in the early spring. I want more of these. I had several, but as far as I know, this may be the only one I have left. The snails took these out for me. I also plan to try to stratify my little plants better when I bring them out in the spring. Not necessarily my house plants in the pots. I probably hope that God will stratify those by letting it be warm enough before it gets so hot. That period in between the cold and the heat, they struggle, of course, and if you bring them in and out, that's the best thing for them, which I probably won't do that. It's just too much to do, and I have no place really to do it. But I have been thinking that I might start my little clippings from the window in the little biodegradable pots and then put them in a little place where I can cover them with plastic when the days and nights get extra cold, and see if I can't, and then uncover them, of course, later. So I'm going to see how that will be, how it will work for me. And I was thinking this little shelf is one that I could use maybe to stratify my plants that I take outside, and I'll just have to put them on here and cover it with a clear plastic and then uncover it as I go so that they can get stratified and get used to the elements before I put them in, and hopefully I'll be able to save more that way. And as far as the house plants go, I usually just try to wait until almost all the danger of a frost is past before I bring those out. Hopefully all the danger of the frost will be past, because the little house plants can't handle that, and especially when they've been inside through the winter, because that's what the stratification is all about, to help them get used to the conditions they'll be put in. In Oklahoma, it doesn't give them much of a chance. They've got to be tough to live here. But a lot of the little clippings I have in the window, I can hopefully get those in a biodegradable pot and put them in a little container or a little shelving where I can cover them with plastic without having to do it individually, and hopefully it won't take so much time to cover and uncover until they're a little more stratified, so that I don't end up losing half or more of what I put in. And you know, after you save those all winter long, you're pretty bonded with them, so you don't want to lose them. It's hard to lose them. So we're going to give that a try this coming spring. And also, while I'm thinking about things for the 2023 garden, I'm looking back at the things I got done in 2022, because I actually got 4 iMovies made, all at least an hour long, covering the highlights of the lifespan or the life so far of my mother and 3 of my sisters. So I still lack the movie I want to make for my youngest daughter, and I want to get back to my book and see how much of it I can get done this year. Hopefully one day I'll actually have it done, but I'm not even going to look to that right now because I'm just going to see how the book goes, how much I can get done and how much it will cover of my life. So I think that is some great aspirations to have for the year that we are in that's just beginning, and hopefully we'll get those plus more exciting things or things that we've wanted to do and actually maybe can see come to fruition this year. And before very long, I would like to get out and see how many of these lighter green hoses that I have out here, because I definitely will need to replace these. They just didn't work for me. They spring holes that put up geysers, and then they don't water everywhere else because the water's all coming out at the geyser. So these have to be replaced if I'm going to be able to use them for any type of a soaker hose, and that will be the plan. And this little pot is down again. I'm going to have to either put some more stakes around it or just change it out. I'm going to have to do something so it won't always be falling over. So I'm trying just the one other stake behind it, these little gray things you see sticking up here. I put an extra one behind there, and I'm hoping that will work. If not, I'll definitely have to try something a little more drastic, like getting it out of this spot.
Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.